You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And as we continue to make sure that you have the most important information available for you as you try to maneuver and navigate a tragedy possibly in your life, if you're one of the people who might have lost your home, or maybe you've been evacuated, you're not sure about the status of your home, you don't know what to do next, where to go next. Well, let me tell you about someone who might be able to help you. My next guest is attorney Leticia Johnson, and she's the managing partner of the Southeastern Regional Offices of Singleton Schreiber, which is the nation's preeminent wildfire litigation firm, having represented over 26,000 victims of wildfires and recovered over $2.5 billion in settlements and verdicts for their clients. They have an upcoming Zoom tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, and you can register at singletonschreiber.com. We'll make sure that you have this information. We'll have plenty of time. But you can register at singletonschreiber.com, and they'll be discussing community updates and available resources and answer your questions about the Eaton and Hearst fires and have your concerns addressed by experienced attorneys. So welcoming to the show right now, attorney Leticia Johnson. Attorney Johnson, how are you this evening?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well, all things considered, and I appreciate your expertise on this night. Now, for someone who doesn't understand the enormity of what may be confronting them after they're losing their homes in a tragedy like this, what's, for you, the first step that these homeowners should take?
That's a very good question. So, first and foremost, everyone needs to ensure their safety, right? Make sure you're safe and follow all of the emergency guidelines. Respect the curfews and heed all of the evacuation orders. So we want to keep people as safe as possible. Once you're safe, then it's time to start documenting everything. Take photos of the damage, go through all those pics on your phone, start making lists of all the items that have been lost. Save all of your receipts from fire-related expenses. Keep records of all of your communications with your insurance company. And most importantly, understand your rights before making, any major decisions about your claims. This is why we hold those town halls to help people understand all of their options.
When you say pictures of your home, I would interpret that to mean if you do have any pictures of your home before the tragedy, wouldn't that also help?
Oh, yes, that's exactly what I mean. Sometimes we think we remember all the things that we own. Going through those pictures will help you jog your memory of all the little things, right? And you want to claim everything because we want you to, receive the benefit of all the things that you own. Mm-hmm. That's part of your wealth.
You say the first thing at the top of the list should be obviously making sure that you're safe, that you're observing the curfew and the laws regarding that. But at the same time, I'm quite sure people were thinking like, well, should I reach out to FEMA first? Should I reach out to my insurance provider first? I mean, what is the level of what's the priority order?
So it really depends on your situation. And so, if you call us and talk to us so we can better advise, I would just sort of hate to give sort of a generic answer because there's so many diverse situations out there.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about a hypothetical. There are thousands of people in the Eaton Canyon area, Altadena, who've lost their homes. Let's talk from the standpoint of someone who's completely lost their home and they can't even at this moment get back up to where their home was because they have not been allowed to return. What could they be doing possibly during this time other than getting their documents together?
They have to secure living arrangements. Reaching out to their insurance company would also be important. To start to get to understand their benefits, start talking to various attorneys to see so that you can make an informed decision. It's time to gather all the information you possibly can about your claims, potential claims, and your injuries and your rights.
I know someone is listening right now who does not have their home, unfortunately. And I know someone who's listening right now who lost their home and may not have had the opportunity or even the forethought of forethought of mind to gather documents such as like a deed or any type of information about the sale of the house or the condition of the house. And they may be limited as far as the number of pictures they have. In other words, it's a dire situation all the way around. For someone like that, and I know someone in that same situation will be on that Zoom tomorrow, what would you tell him or her in a general sense?
So, for instance, if you don't know who your home insurance is with, you can always call your mortgage company if it's escrowed, or you can call your insurance agent.
When you are getting,
so that's where I would start.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you, what you're saying. When you are handling these different cases like this, what are some of the questions that you find yourself fielding when you're doing a virtual town hall like this? I'm quite sure you've heard every question under the sun, but what are some of the more frequent questions that you receive?
So, the impact of this of this fire has been devastating, with 14,000 acres burned, over 7,000 buildings damaged and destroyed, and, of course, the loss of life. What we're hearing from families who've lost everything, in this particular situation, homes passed down through generations, we are hearing them really worry about being able to rebuild, and being displaced.
As far as the time period, because I know when you're in a desperate situation, you are, by definition, desperate. Everything is taking too long and you don't have enough time and you don't want to wait months or years. But be honest with me, be honest with everyone listening right now. How long is this process usually best circumstances as far as being displaced, losing your home, and being made whole, if at all possible?
Unfortunately, it is not a short-term process. On the better side, we're looking at 18 months. On probably more of an average, between 18 months and 24 months before lawsuit settlements. Insurance proceeds may come in quicker than that. Of course, FEMA benefits might be quicker than that. But before it all closes out, we're looking at a minimum of 2 years, and then, of course, families have to then rebuild. So this isn't a short-term process.
If you're tuning in right now, my guest is attorney Leticia Johnson, who is the managing partner of Singleton Schreiber, the nation's preeminent wildfire litigation firm, having represented over 26,000 victims of wildfires. They're having a very important and obviously free virtual town hall tomorrow. You can register. It's at 6 p.m. LA time. Register at singletonschreiber.com. That's SingletonSchreiber.com. We'll have more with Leticia Johnson in just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I'm speaking with attorney Leticia Johnson, who is the managing partner of Singleton Schreiber for the Southeastern region. And Singleton Schreiber is the nation's preeminent wildfire litigation firm, having represented over 26,000 victims of wildfires and recovered over $2.5 billion in settlements and verdicts for their clients. They're offering an exclusive opportunity to ask key questions about the Eaton and Hearst fires and have your concerns addressed by experienced attorneys. And they will also be offering community updates and available resources tomorrow at 6 p.m. You can register for the virtual town hall at singletonschreiber.com. Of course, we'll have that information at KFIAM640.com. And Attorney Johnson, let me come back to you and bring you into the conversation. You and in your firm, they take fire litigation cases on a contingency fee basis, meaning you don't get paid unless their clients get paid. I know there is a question about what money do people have to offer up front. Explain that for people who may not understand what contingency basis is.
So essentially it means there is no requirement to pay anything up front, that we don't get paid until our clients get paid.
What are some of the first steps that you as legal representation will be taking on behalf of, I'm quite sure, some people who will be at that virtual town hall tomorrow?
So the first thing that we want to do is sort of explain what the firm offers and take questions and try to ease concerns. And then, of course, then give people the option if they want to sign up with us, they will have that option as well.
You're also available to assist with FEMA applications. And if you could just break down what you are offering to do as far as helping people become whole with insurance and how that's different from how you will assist with FEMA.
Sure. So we have, our clients will have access to an insurance expert free of charge, who will consult with them in terms of the offers that are made by their insurance companies. Our team also is available to assist individuals with FEMA applications and appeals at no cost. We also have an on-staff social worker, and our clients have unlimited access to this social worker who is available to assist with finding housing, applying for financial aid, and locating mental health resources.
Okay, let me just stay right there since we are talking about FEMA, and that's separate and distinct from the insurance process, which you said could take upwards of, 2 years. And people who are without a place to stay, they may have temporary housing, but as far as permanent housing, they do not have that. If it's 2 years for the insurance, what are we talking about as far as schedule for FEMA, as far as what FEMA can do and will do?
So, that's sort of a slippery slope, and I really can't say for sure because it's one of those things that's on an individual basis and depends on the circumstance. What I can say is that we can help you through that process, whatever that process looks like.
Tomorrow you will have your virtual town hall meeting. You can register at singletonschreiber.com. That's SINGLETONSCHREIBER.com. We'll have that information on our website at KFIAM640.com. And in that, you'll have a number of attorneys who will be on that call, that virtual town hall. Tell me about some of the expertise which is going to be offered from yourself and other attorneys.
So, you've said it several times. We lead the nation in fire litigation. And so we have our managing partner of the entire firm, Gerald Singleton. He will be on the call, and he will answer questions and explain the processes. We have represented so many victims of fire, and there's so many fires across the nation that we have represented victims with. And he'll talk about his experience, and I think that's really where you get the expertise. If it's to be seen, he's seen it.
I know that this is one of those difficult times in some of your clients' lives where they may be full of emotion. They may be uncertain about what the future is going to bring, and they have no idea where to turn. And you have a good idea of what they need to do, but at the same time, you can't get emotionally attached to the clients. What I would ask you before I let you go is, how do you go about providing some level of assurance that this is a process which can be managed, even though it may take some time, even though it may take a lot of work, but this is a process, when done correctly, can really be beneficial for people who are going through it right about now.
Well, I think it is because I feel like it's a huge opportunity. I remember all the devastation that happened during Katrina, and then all of the devastation that happened after Katrina. I think with our firm being involved in this process at such an early state, we can help protect the community from those from scavengers, and we can help people make the best decisions for themselves to make sure they maintain and they make sure that they get the justice that they deserve and the resources that they need to rebuild.
She is attorney Leticia Johnson, managing partner of Singleton Schreiber for their Southeastern region, the nation's preeminent wildfire litigation firm, having represented over 26,000 victims of wildfires. They're having an exclusive virtual town hall meeting tomorrow where you have the opportunity to ask key questions about the Eaton and Hearst fires and have your concerns addressed by their experienced attorneys. You can register right now. It's tomorrow at 6 p.m., but you can register right now at singletonschreiber.com. Attorney Johnson, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and thank you for sharing your expertise.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And over the course of the day, you might have seen a couple of press conferences. I want to get into them both right now. I want to take my time and slow down so we can listen to some really good information which was passed along by not only our civic leaders, but also our elected leaders. First, I want to get into, and I'm doing this in reverse chronological order. There was a press conference by our new LA County DA, Nathan Hochman, about 2:00 today, where he's, from where I'm sitting, delivering on a promise to be tougher on crime, making sure that criminals are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, something that we were not getting under George Gascon, and also serving notice to any would-be criminals that, as they say, the proverbial new sheriff is in town. And this is Nathan Hochman earlier today talking about those who've been arrested for looting and arson.
There have been certain people that we have given a warning to because we anticipated that this was going to happen. And these are the criminals. These are the people who are seeking to exploit this tragedy for their own benefit. These are people who have engaged in looting, arson. We've also investigated price gouging. We'll be investigating internet scams and the like. Today, we're here to announce that the promise that we made when we started this, that these criminals would be arrested, they would be prosecuted, and they will be maximally punished, is a promise we are keeping. As we announced today, the charges being filed on 10 different individuals, 9 of them for looting in both the Palisades and the Eaton fires, and 1 for arson. And arson, by the way, not connected with the origination of the major fires, but an arson that occurred in Azusa. These felony charges are the result of a multi-agency collaboration that has been nothing short of incredibly impressive to be able to bring these charges this quickly. This collaboration includes the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles County Fire Arson Unit, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the ATF, the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office, and all our related cities that you'll hear about that have done incredible work under enormously stressful times in order to bring these culprits to justice. I'll go through the various charges that have been filed to date. The first set of charges are against 3 individuals, Martrell Peoples, Damari Bell, and Travin Coleman. What 2 of these individuals did is on the night of both January 8th and the early morning hours of January 9th, they went ahead and committed first-degree residential burglary and looting during an emergency and evacuation situation in a house in Mandeville Canyon. They have been charged with first-degree residential burglary. They've been charged with looting. They've been charged with grand theft. They stole over $200,000, as been alleged by the charging documents. And by the way, with respect to the charges I'm going to announce, please know this. The charges themselves are not evidence. Everyone that I'm going to describe today is presumed guilty until and unless they are proven guilt. Their guilt is proven by the government beyond a reasonable doubt.
Presumed innocent.
I'm sorry?
Presumed innocent.
Excuse me. Presumed innocent. Thank you for the change. Presumed innocent until and unless their guilt is proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So back with Mr. Peoples and Mr. Bell. They went ahead and committed these crimes. And when they committed these crimes, as you're going to see on this TV screen right here to my left, it was caught on a Ring camera. If you can play that as we're speaking. And the LAPD, through, again, such impressive investigation, worked with various leads and tracked Mr. Peoples and Mr. Bell to an apartment in Koreatown. Surveillance was then conducted. When they attempted to leave, they were then apprehended, and a number of these stolen items from that residence was found with Mr. Peoples and Mr. Bell. Mr. Peoples is is committed 2 prior violent or serious felonies. This is his third. As a potential 3-strike person, he is looking at life in prison. And Mr. Bell, as a second strike individual, will be looking at 22 years and 8 months in prison if convicted. Mr. Coleman accompanied Mr. Bell and Mr. Peoples out of that apartment building in Koreatown, went into a second car. And when Mr. Peoples and Mr. Bell were stopped, that second car, driven by Mr. Coleman, kept going. It went through a light. It crashed into another vehicle. That innocent person in the other vehicle suffered a concussion. So Mr. Coleman has been charged with 1-count felony hit and run causing great bodily injury. As also a potential 3rd strike case, he is looking at a maximum sentence of life in prison. The second case that we'll talk about involves Rudy Salazar and Lucia Hilrara Perez. They have been charged with 2 counts of each of first-degree residential burglary in connection with an Altadena looting incident. On the night of, again, January 8th, they went ahead and entered 2 different houses in the Altadena area, stealing property in each of the houses, and they were apprehended by the police. And they are looking at 6 years maximum on each one of the residential burglary counts. The third set of charges is against Roy Sims, Ryan Sims, Naquan Dewey Reddix, and Pierre O'Bannon. They are each charged with 1 count of first-degree residential burglary in connection with their crimes, where they went into a house in Altadena in the early morning hours and stole a variety of different personal property from the owners of that house. If we can show some of that property and the burglary tools that were seized.
No.
We do not have that. Among the property that you'll see that was stolen in that particular incident was actually the Emmy Award of the resident who lived there. That was, the police worked incredibly quickly in that situation, stopped these individuals, and were able to apprehend them and recover most of the stolen property. The fourth incident is an arson incident in which Jose Gerardo Escobar has been charged. Do we have that ready? This is an incident that occurred in Azusa, where Mr. Escobar has been charged with 3 different arson charges. He is looking at 9 years in state prison. This is arson that occurred at Pioneer Park in the city of Azusa. It was investigated by the Azusa Police Department, who acted very effectively and very efficiently in apprehending Mr. Escobar. Mr. Escobar, as well, has been not only has been charged, but he is set for arraignment today. So again, with respect to all these charges, as I said before, these charges are not evidence, and they are presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But this shows the effectiveness of law enforcement. So when I said, and I have been saying over the past couple days, the question is not if, but when you will be caught if you engage in these crimes. The 10 charges, or 10 different individuals that have been charged today, are evidence of that fact. And the warning shot remains. Do not go ahead and engage in looting, engage in internet scams, engage in price gouging. Do not violate evacuation orders. And do not commit any of these crimes in which people are trying to profit from the tragedy of the people who have suffered from these various fires.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Something that D.A. Hochman said at the end, I don't know if you caught it, when he was talking about do not engage in price gouging. That would be interesting to see how they monitor it, what's the threshold for charging someone as being criminally liable for price gouging, because you see it all the time, and you especially see it during disaster situations where businesses or services will try to gouge the public, and you never hear about any type of consequences for that. So I'm interested to see whether that will hold true to form and whether D.A. Hochman will actually lean into anyone or any business engaging in price gouging. Also, from the law enforcement side, earlier today, I want to say it was about maybe 9 this morning, you had L.A. Sheriff Robert Luna weigh in on some of the issues and some of his demands as far as what he expects of people respecting the curfew and what we need to do to remain safe.
Regarding our deployment, we still have well over 1,000 of our Los Angeles County deputies out there working on 12-hour shifts. We have 172 California Highway Patrol officers. I'd like to thank the commissioner who was with me yesterday, Sean DeRee, for all of his assistance. I also want to thank Major General Beavers. I was with him as well, and he has fortunately been able to increase the amount of National Guard assistance that he is giving us to up to 600. And he told me yesterday if we need more, we can ask for more. And we are strategically looking at that, analyzing it, and will ask as needed. Evacuations, we have approximately, and this is some good news because it's dropped, we have over 92,000 people who are under evacuation orders and approximately 89,000 people who are under evacuation warnings. I want our community to know this, and Chief Maroney did talk about this for a second. In every conversation we're having about evacuations, warnings, whether they're going to implement them or take them away, the conversation about repopulation is on all of our minds. I know that we are attending, staff's attending community meetings, whether they be out in the Palisades Fire area in Malibu for us at LA County Sheriff's, in the Altadena area. We are hearing our community loud and clear, and we want to get you in there as soon as possible. But I want to reiterate what is holding us up. This is very important. We are still, for the Altadena area, we are in the 3rd day of grid searching. It is a very grim task, and we, unfortunately, every day we're doing this, we're running across the remains of individual community members. That is not easy work, very sad to report, and I believe that work is not only going to continue, but I believe will continue to find remains. So please be patient with us. People are saying, I just want to go look at my house and I want to see what's left. We know that, but we have people literally looking for the remains of your neighbors. Please be patient with us. There's a lot of hazards in the area still. The area has not been rendered safe. Please be patient with us. And then we have the potential of crime scenes. And I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying we have to think ahead because we can't go back from that. So please be patient with us. The curfew is still in effect, 6 p.m. To 6 a.m. for specifically the mandatory evacuation areas in both the Palisades impacted area and the Eaton fire impacted areas. Those are subject to change depending on need, one way or another. We understand, again, that people want to go back, but it is dangerous to do so, and we will not put anybody's safety at risk. I want to talk about arrest for the LA County Sheriff's area. Overnight, we had several other arrests. It brings it up to a total of 34 in our geographic area. We have 30 in the Eaton fire area, and we have 4 in the Palisades area. Last night, specifically, again, for LA County Sheriff's jurisdiction, we arrested 4. 2 were for curfew violations. 2 were arrested for 1 drone incident. To my knowledge, we have now had 2 specific drone incidents that have resulted in 3 arrests. So as I talk to our community again, if you do not have business in the evacuation areas, do not go there. Please, you're infringing upon the work that our first responders need to attend to. And I do want to say, when I talk about these arrests, I want to clarify not all of them are for burglary or looting or for curfew violations. But it is very important when I say stay out, we are arresting people who are not supposed to be there, who do not live there, who are in possession of narcotics. We've arrested several with guns. And yeah, I'm going to tell you something. If our deputies being very proactive in these areas, stopping people in a constitutional manner as always, making sure that they're supposed to be there, and you have narcotics on you and you have a gun on you, in police work we call that a clue. Something's wrong there. So that's why we're arresting people. Our search and rescue missions, through the 2 days, we have searched 1,874 properties. In regards to deaths, and again, I want to clarify, this is for the Los Angeles County area of responsibility. We have confirmed 21 deaths, 16 in the Eaton fire area, and 5 in the Palisades area. And sadly, yes, unfortunately, I anticipate the number to go up. Missing persons, we are actively have 23 active missing persons reported, 17 in the Eaton fire area, 6 in the Malibu area. All of them are adults. Thank God there's no juveniles. But if you believe you have somebody who's missing, make sure you report that to us as soon as possible. For any updated information that anybody may have, questions, very important questions regarding evacuation orders or warnings, or any road closures, please go to lacounty.gov/emergency for assistance. The American Red Cross is doing an amazing job. Please contact them. And again, for some of the negative things I talk about, there are some amazing stories of community members coming forward to donate items. It's very inspiring. For donations, go to Emergency Network Los Angeles.
And also we heard from other members of our law enforcement community, because there are 2 sides to the disaster. There are the victims of the disaster itself, and there are the victims who continue to be victimized by other people in the community of the same disaster. And here is now LAPD Assistant Chief Dominic Choi.
I want to start by just assuring everybody that our primary focus still remains the safety and well-being of our residents. These fires have caused significant disruptions, but we are working tirelessly with our partners to protect lives, property and secure critical infrastructure. So as of this morning, LAPD has in the city 266 officers deployed to the Palisades fire. We also have support from our National Guard partners who have deployed 200 soldiers assigned to the incident. We're very grateful for their support. We also have dedicated resource investigating our missing persons reported. So at this time, as of this morning, 6 a.m., we have a total of 26 people reported missing in the city of Los Angeles. 17 of those individuals have been located safely. 9 of the 9 remaining, 2 most likely were found in the fires deceased, but they haven't been positively identified by a coroner's office yet, so those are still waiting to be identified. 1 individual, we believe, is located safely in a shelter, but that person, we're waiting for confirmation on that. There are 6 that remain unaccounted for, and we're diligently trying to identify and locate these people. So in total, in the city of Los Angeles, since Tuesday when these fires occurred, we have 3 fatalities. Again, 2 were found in the fires, and 1 was a burn victim that was transported earlier this week to a hospital. That person later passed away. If you want to make a missing persons report, you can do so either in person or over the phone. You can call any one of our 21 geographic stations and make that report, or you can call our missing persons investigation unit directly. I'm going to give you the number. It's 213-996-1800 and select option 3. That telephone is manned 24 hours a day currently. As of this morning, the city of Los Angeles related to the fires has a total of 14 arrests, 3 for curfew, 1 for impersonating a firefighter, 1 for possession of burglary tools, 4 for burglary, 1 for DUI, 1 for felony vandalism, and 3 for shoplifting. As the sheriff just mentioned, it's not just for looting or burglary that you're going to jail or curfew. If you're in the area, you don't belong in the area, you will be stopped and questioned, and whatever crime is being committed, you will be held accountable for that. So please stay away from these evacuation areas. Regarding escorts, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but we tried to be compassionate and put together a team to escort residents to their homes to either retrieve small pets or their medication. But that line became exceedingly large, and it was causing more problems than solutions. We have halted this escort service for the safety of everyone involved. Currently, we don't have any timeline of when we're going to open up that service, if at all. So please be patient with us. We know you are waiting. If you are still waiting at any of these checkpoints to be let in or escorted, please do not wait there. You will not be let in or allowed to have an escort at this time. Also, another important reason for stopping these escorts is because we have search operations beginning. Over the next 48 hours, we'll be working alongside LAFD Search and Rescue, our ATF partners, as well as the LA County Coroner's Office throughout the burn areas, giving priority to those people that are reported missing in these burn areas. From there, grid search will take place that could result in crime scene preservation and then recovery of remains. We hope that the high volume of resources dedicated to this effort will expedite the process. And as many of you know, the dry conditions and winds increasing, it's possible that evacuation orders may increase. I know overnight we saw some of the evacuation orders turn into warnings, but we can absolutely see some of these areas increase to mandatory evacuations again. So we urge you, please heed these orders. It can save your life. And as we also previously mentioned, identifying the cause of these fires is critically important to all of us. In conjunction with our partners and led by ATF, we have created a Los Angeles Regional Wildlife Investigative Task Force. And while their work is still in the early stages, we're committed to identifying the cause and origin of these fires, and we're also committed to holding anyone who's responsible for these fires accountable. And to further protect the residents of Los Angeles, in the city, our curfew is also still in effect from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. In short, if you don't belong there, don't be there. In closing, I want to reiterate that our department and all of us standing here this morning are with you. I want to express my deepest gratitude to the firefighters, our fellow law enforcement partners, and volunteers who are putting themselves in harm's way to protect our communities and help people recover. Their bravery and dedication are truly inspirational. We are also grateful for the patience and cooperation of our residents during this difficult time. We know this is not easy. Thank you and be safe.
KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.